All right, welcome back to the first edition of RToD Revolutions. This is going to be a laid-back series. Maybe it'll catch on. I don't know. We'll see. But it's going to be kind of like my As I Remember, but we're going to be talking about records. I want to really focus on 45s, but they're going to be maybe rare or unique or just records that I really like that I want to share with you. Because we'll be listening to some of it, I expect all of this to be caught by copyright on YouTube. So I just want to put a plug in for our Ko-Fi and Buy Me a Coffee. If you like what we do over here, it would be greatly appreciated to support it. Now, I thought about this series for a while because, there's a lot of times at night where I'll just get myself a nice drink and we'll listen to some music on the record player here and just kind of zone out. And there's some interesting stories behind some artists and some records. So when I came up with this idea, I thought, what would be good for the first episode, right? I have a pretty decent collection here, and what's behind me, this isn't all of it, there's more. I thought, well, one of the things I wanted to cover was a song that's about nothing, right? Kind of like a Seinfeld song. Because I've seen this song pop up in my YouTube feed more and more lately. I don't know if it's because it's actually trending or if it's because of the way my algorithm is skewed a little bit, but it's probably an artist you don't know of, especially if you live in the United States or North America. Adriano Celentano. He's an Italian artist. And the song that I want to talk about tonight is Prisencolinensinainciusol. Prisencolinensinainciusol. And it is on this 45 here. One side is Prisencolinensinainciusol, and the other side is his song Disc Jockey. So this came out in 1972, and it's a gibberish song, as you could tell from the title, Prisencolinensinainciusol. Not that I've been practicing that. It means nothing. It's not English. But the song was written by an Italian, Adriano, to mimic what English sounds like. And there's a quote from him about this I want to read to you that goes, "Ever since I started singing, I was very influenced by American music and everything Americans did. So at a certain point, because I like American slang, which for a singer is much easier to sing than Italian, I thought that I would write a song which only have its theme the inability to communicate. And to do this, I had to write a song where the lyrics didn't mean anything." So every word in this song is made up. It is what English sounds like to an Italian, right? Sounds like a weird concept, and when we listen to it, it might make sense. But when you think about it, right, you might listen to music in other languages, in languages you don't know. And if you were to sing that song, you're not going to get it perfect, right? I used to listen to a lot of Rammstein. I could sing some of those songs. I think I could sing some of those songs, but they are not German. I don't speak German. So if a German speaker would hear me singing that, they would probably know what I've said, but it would be kind of gibberish. I think a better example for me would be French songs. See, I listen to a lot of French-Canadian artists. I speak a little bit of French. Mon français est très mal. I know enough to get by and get by poorly at that. But like Blue Jean Bleu, I like Antoine Granton, I like Lisa LeBlanc, and I know their songs. I know the words because I understand French. I can speak French enough, but when I sing it, or if I were to sing it, it's not very good, right? It's not French. It's kind of what I would think French would sound like, right? And that's where this song comes in. And it's a really interesting concept when you think about it, because, American music, especially in the, late 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s, and even today, right? There's still a large American pop culture influence around the world. It's easy for, other cultures to play American music or sing American music, and the English is not good, right? I know when, if I travel in Europe, whether it was for leisure or from my time in the Navy, you would hear American pop music, right? The top 40 would be playing all over, along with local songs as well. Well, it didn't dominate, but American songs were there. And, listening to people singing or humming it, it was just slightly off. So here it is. This is the record from 1972. This is the 45. The whole song is about 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Because this is the first version of this, I'm not really sure how much we're going to play, if we're going to listen to the whole thing. But let's start this off, and I think right away you'll understand where he's coming with a English song, or what English sounds like to an Italian audience. So we'll get the Hitachi up, and let's go.
Prisencolinensinainciusol.
You the cold maids say one Prisencolinensinainciusol. All right.
So the music video, well, there are many music videos for this, but one of the more popular ones is this is almost like a classroom setting, and Adriano's the teacher. And then the students are singing the refrain. So you can see it sounds like English. Like, it's kind of English, right? If you squint. We're going to at least wait till the refrain from when we hear the students sing back. We'll listen to this. All right, so I think about as much as we're going to play, because again, we're going to get a copyright, and I don't want the video to get taken down. But you could see where it sounds like English, right? If you were not a native English speaker, and actually that's a good question for the people in the comment. If English is not your mother tongue, is this what you thought English sounded like growing up? I actually asked a good friend of mine, who English was his second language, and he kind of agreed, right? Because he knew English from music, from TV. That's where he learned a lot of his early English at, but he kind of had his own interpretation of what English sounded like, so he was able to relate to this song. So if you are a non-native English speaker, let me know. Does this make sense? Is that what you thought English sounded like? So it's a really interesting concept. I know Cilantro even kind of, when he talked about this in interviews, kind of like a Tower of Babel thing, where we have communication barriers, right? Whereas somebody who doesn't understand English watching this video would have no idea what I'm talking about, but they could listen to an English song and enjoy it and appreciate it. And I think I find that relatable with especially a lot of the French Canadian songs I like, or songs in other languages that are just very catchy, right? I like the melody. I appreciate the lyrics. I might not know what they're saying, but I can appreciate it. And I think it's interesting that when you can hear a language, not understand it, but love the melody and the way it's composed, and it goes deeper than just the notes or the music, because a good musical piece is more than just the notes. It's the notes, it's the lyrics, it's how they're molded together, it's how they play on each other. And I thought that this was a really good example of that concept. And I don't think I can't think offhand of any other gibberish songs, right? What do you know of any other songs that are in a made up language kind of like this, that are outside of like a kid's cartoon or something? Not to belittle some of that, but this was a very popular song in Europe in the early 70s. And I think it even charted a little bit in the States. I'd have to double check that one. But, it fits a very American pop rock and roll. I think that if we played the melody without lyrics, most people would assume it's an American song from the late 60s, early 70s, just based on the tempo of it and the funk about it. And it's really a timeless piece. Like I said, in my YouTube algorithm, it keeps popping up more. I don't know if that's because I searched for it previously, but it does seem to be gaining more traction. So I think that's going to wrap up this first RToD Revolutions on Prisencolinensinainciusol. Let me know if you like this series. I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 more as a trial run, and we'll see your feedback on it. But I think it'd be really nice to share some music with you, especially music that means a lot to me, or just some rare or unknown 45s and even some LPs that I have. So we're going to wrap this up. If you like what we're doing here at Retro Tech or Die, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.